Today I'll be introducing you all to a game called Dead Sea. Now it really needs no introduction because it's pretty obvious what animes this game is based off of and what other games it takes inspiration from. But what I will say is that this is one of those games that is genuinely fun to progress in, and because of that, I think it has the potential to be a real success on this platform amongst the people that are into more hardcore PvP oriented games. But that said, let's begin, shall we? And so here we are in Dead Sea. Now at this point I didn't really know much about the game except for the fact that it was hardcore and had Viking and pirate aspects to it. Now you enter your name and your appearance is completely randomized. I get in the game and that first person I see was someone with the word conqueror in his name, so I knew he had to be pretty strong. So I asked him to teach me the ropes of the game, and he starts telling me about the parry combat that the game has. Now basically in this game, it's going to be that standard parry combat that you're going to see in a lot of hardcore games and permadeath games. But with this one, the angles of your swing actually matter, so you kind of have to swing your camera in order to get extra range and stuff like that. But overall it's very fluid. I kind of like this more than a lot of the other games that I've played in recent times, and I think that this one's combat, it feels more rewarding. And I think that the kill time and health and everything that is just about it, about the base combat at least, is actually very cool. So anyway, I end up winning that battle, but of course he kind of did let me win, so he decided to just let me group him as well for the XP. But that said, because this is an adventure game, it was time to do some adventuring. Now there's a lot of NPCs scattered around the map and they'll tell you different things about the game and how to progress. For example, this guy in this bar right here is talking about some curses or whatever, but basically it actually relates to an in-game system in which you're able to get some absurd power by quote-unquote sacrificing your humanity, whatever that means. But either way, he wasn't too helpful for me at the moment, so I actually decided to venture out and get myself some trinkets. Like any hardcore game, you're gonna see some trinkets on the ground, and once you get those trinkets you're going to be able to go back to any village and sell them for money, which you can use to buy weapons, armor, other stuff like that. Now I'd done collected a few of them, but then on my adventures I actually saw this weird little camp with a person over there, so I decided to go check it out. Now I went over to the camp and then there was some NPC that knew my name. I have a feeling that that's someone that we're going to have to use to unlock a class in the future, but either way I was given some more trinkets by this group of people that I found, and I kinda joined their crew, so they began to bully me, pushed me off a cliff, you know how it goes. But anyway, wasn't too harmed by that, but now it was time for things to get serious, and so just like that, I decided to check out my first skill. Now in this game, to actually progress, you're going to want to literally just play the game. Like you just fight people and you'll see some more things coming up, but just fighting people and just actually adventuring, you'll actually get XP from that, and in doing that you're actually going to be able to unlock your skills. But what I really like about the game is the fact that there's actually so many different weapons, skills and abilities and stuff like that that have secret ways of getting them that only the developers know. But that's actually why we're going to be heading to the next area here on a ship. Now the ships are really expensive in this game, but again there is going to be naval combat and stuff like that, so it's pretty cool. The cannons are actually functional. But here you see we arrive on the island. Now the map is very huge, like it is super big. Again, they want you to be adventuring in this game, so when we get on the island we have to actually climb up this huge mountain and traverse this cave. But the peace and quiet of adventuring through the cave wouldn't last for long, because eventually you get to this great plain where we see someone straight up decapitated. Then out of nowhere from behind a tree, a man with a huge ass axe comes and tries to take my head off as well, so the only thing there is to do is fight back. Now I did need the XP, so my other team members decided to hang back and let me run the ones with him, but I didn't really need their help anyway because I'm kinda goated with the sauce like that, and I was able to unlock another one of my skills during the fight, which finished them off. And that said, we were able to grip him and we could move on. But things wouldn't be as easy as I thought, because these raids got more and more frequent, as if people were trying to stop us from getting to our location. But in the game's lore, every region has a different ruler, and that's why some places are more dangerous than others, and this place in particular was prone to a lot of bandits and thieves, so we had to defeat them. But anyway, we ended up at the main village on this island, and we decided to talk to the locals for any information that we may get. Adventuring here, I got a lot of interesting tidbits of how I can progress in the game, but what I was really excited about was getting to the blacksmith shop. Now, after a donation from one of the friends, I was actually able to get this huge ass axe, which was pretty damn cool. Now, I love my heavy weapons in games like this because I always love having more range and honestly having a more defensive playstyle. But that said, if I got a new weapon, I wanted to actually try it. I wanted to see what I could do with it, so I began fighting with it, and I was immediately reminded why everyone recommends not to go heavy weapons in any hardcore game whatsoever. The slow attack speed simply just cannot make up for its damage, and it really does suck because I am a heavy weapons connoisseur in every game, but it looks like I'm probably gonna have to switch this eventually. But in the meantime, it was back to adventuring. Now we finally made it to the top of the ramparts of this castle, and it was a good time to take a moment and kind of survey the area and appreciate the scenery. But once we were done doing that, there was actually a library in here, which the more progressed people in our group were able to get this kind of cool AoE blast ability thing. No clue how I get that, but that doesn't matter because one of the people actually gave me their sword, which was called the Honoring Blade, and it was really cool because it had the range that I liked of a heavy weapon, but it was also as agile as a medium, and I could use the medium skills that I unlocked because the XP for the weapon classes doesn't transfer. Now, I was able to do some pretty cool combos to different people with this weapon, and I like that the heavy of it is basically like another skill in itself because you kind of lunge forward and stab your opponent. But it was at this time that our glorious leader had actually bought the biggest ship in the game. Yes, this thing was like a whole ass town, or like an island in itself. Now, I didn't mention earlier that in this game there's a hunger system, and that's the yellow bar you see at the bottom of the screen. So it's actually important that you can store different food items in those barrels you see around the ship, and this ship could hold a lot of food, so you didn't have to worry about going hungry, and you could basically travel as much as you want without having to stop at any islands, which is very beneficial because there's like sea monsters and stuff that you might want to fight. And yeah, this thing was just a complete behemoth and absolutely awesome, and it gives new players something to strive for because as soon as I saw that, it made me want to keep playing the game. But eventually you make it to this island with all these weird crystals on it, and I was told that before we go here that the gameplay experience was about to do a 180 on me. I didn't know what they meant by that, but then I saw this weird glowing shimmering statue, and I was like, yeah, I know what they mean now. This is about to get crazy. Now, I took a moment to contemplate and I dove right in, and as soon as I spawned, it said welcome to hell. Now, all I have to say is some crazy stuff happened after this, but the game is actually media banned for that, so I can't show it. But again, that is Dead Sea, and I'll tell you now, if you guys want, I'll make a second video on this game because it only gets crazier and there's so much more I want to show you. Again, this video was just an introduction, but yeah, this might actually be the game to look out for, and I'm not even exaggerating with that. So again, if you like this video, definitely be sure to subscribe and let me know what you want to see next. I'll see you guys in the next one.
I can persevere, go forward on my own. There's a bright and shining pure light coming through the darkness of the night. Now I can't help crying for my life. In this endless time that I live inside, take a closer look as who you are.